So, anyways, I know it's very painful.
I'll get there. It's going to be another week or so, but we'll get there.
Yeah. Well, good luck to you on that. We'll be looking forward to it.
Do you think you'll publish it on Windows at all?
I don't know. I haven't looked at that, to be honest. I've actually got
That's
a
not a
Windows
bad
phone
idea.
here. So.
I mean, there's
yeah.
a lot of, I would assume there's a lot of business class users on Windows phones. I mean, not that Windows phones people are, any more serious than anybody else, but, it just seems like it would lend itself to it.
I'm assuming, has anyone experience of using widgets on Windows phones?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's
that might be an issue.
Right? You have to say, okay, if I go to Windows phones and I have to solve the same text and widget interface issues, is there going to be some new surprise? Right, Richard?
Yeah.
I think the biggest issue I think that you would run into there is that you would have to begin working in Visual Studio, which you, as a .NET developer, you're probably not.
Yeah, that's fine.
Afraid of. So that would be the biggest change, and then going in and seeing what has been implemented for Windows Phone at this point. So yeah, so you probably have enough to handle with just getting Android out.
Yeah, just for now. I do have a day job, as I said.
Yeah, well, sure, whatever. Don't start backpedaling now. Come on. Man up. All right, well, guys.
Go the full mile.
That's right. Come on, you've gone this far. You can do it. All right. Well, there you go. We're going to put a link in the show notes, but that's TaskPad Plus. You can Google it and find it on the iOS store. And support your local developer there, your indie developer.
Okay, well, I'm ready to keep talking.
You ready to keep talking?
Okay, thanks, Charles.
Hey, no problem, Richard. Hey, if you need to drop off or anything, that's just.
I'll hang around if that's okay.
Okay, yeah, please do.
Richard, I'm going to have Charles hook us up email-wise. I'll email Charles because he's got your email, and I'll connect, and then I'll send you a little snippet of code to demonstrate what I was talking about.
Okay, that'd be brilliant.
Yeah, your people can get with his people.
My people will talk to your people, which would be us talking to each other after we talk to each other. Charles, you're our people.
All right, so not memory matching. Well, actually, sort of memory matching. Matching the matching game logic, or is that what we're talking about today?
Yeah, it's okay. So, okay. First of all, you can see my screen, okay? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. So, what are we talking about this week? The last 2 or 3 episodes where we talked about this game. This game is basically a memory game in which we are matching cards. So, what we've got is a board with multiple cards on it, where there are 2 cards on the board that have the same image, and it's our job, our task, to locate those and to flip them over in sequence. Assuming we do so, and of course I'm going to have to click like mad until I find some. There we go. Okay, so I found the 2 bananas, so I click over the first, I click the second, and they get removed from the board. Our goal here, find all the matching pairs, click on them in sequence, remove them from the board, do so before the time is up. What we're talking about this week is 2 things. One, the game logic that I just described, that is, how do I detect when all the cards have been removed, which is the win condition, versus how do I detect when time is up and I have lost. And then we'll move on briefly to talking about how I integrated this with the framework. And at that point, the discussion will be pretty much done, and people will be able to pick up the code and play with it and modify it and experiment with it. So, there's 2 conditions, a win and a lose condition. And the logic to discover whether we have won or lost is actually very straightforward. If you've been following along, you know that we've got main Lua, which is the entry point for our game. And then we've got a number of files in the scripts directory. Among these is game Lua. Can you read this okay? Is the text large enough for the screen?
Yes.
It's always one of the things when doing a full screen display. So I decided that for this game, the most straightforward way to check if the game is over in a win condition, we'll solve the win condition first, was basically to keep track of how many cards there are, And every time you match cards, to remove them from a list that I'm tracking the cards in. And when that list is empty, you've won the game. It's simple. Remove all the cards, win the game. So the simplest way to do that is simply, to use the word simple a couple more times, is at the top of your file to create a local variable, and I called it cards. And I inserted into cards a reference to an empty table. And if we do a quick search through our code, what we will see, and let me search for just cards lowercase, we'll see that in the create function, which is where we start the game up, get it all ready. Well, we don't start it, but we get it all ready to start. I simply assign a blank table again. So in effect, wiping out the table that I had there. So I didn't really need to do this, but force of habit, I like to populate most of my variables, if I can, with something meaningful so that I know what they're used for later. So let's find that again. So in create, we assign a blank table, an empty table, 2 cards. And then in the draw board function, which is the function we use to draw the entire, this portion right here with all the cards, which calls a card builder in card Lua. That card builder right here, create, will return a reference to the card. So it builds a card here, returns a reference, builds a card here, returns a reference. Every time we get one of those back, I simply insert the card into the table, and I used the reference itself as the index. So there were 2 ways I could have done this. I could have said, I can type. I can't type today. Very good. So I could have said, insert the card into the table called cards at the position number of current entries plus 1. In other words, how many entries are in the table, add 1 to it, and make that my index right here. So when there's nothing, that would be 1, then 2, and 3, and so on and so forth. And simply assign the card to that position. Now, I know, or I knew when I designed this, that that was not going to be a good choice. The reason is later on when I go to remove the card, I will know which card I want to remove, but I'll have to find that card in the table. So the way to do that would be to iterate over the whole table and say, card 1, is this the one I'm trying to remove? No. Card 2, is this the one I'm trying to remove? No. Card 3, blah, blah, blah. That'll work. If I was removing one card, that would be an okay way to do it. But I know that I'm going to be removing 2 cards at the same time, which means I'd have to run the loop twice. And the reason I would have to run the loop twice is I could literally make a loop that says from the beginning card to the end card, is this card A or card B? If it is, remove it. But as soon as I do that, I risk breaking the iterator because in my experience, the integer iterator, the one that says card 1, card 2, is not as robust as simply removing a direct reference. In other words, the iterator may say, oh, you've just removed 2 entries, I'm done. There's no more entries in this list. Or it may work. And I didn't want to risk that. So instead what I did was I used an alternative technique, which is just as valid. And again, what it is we get this reference to the card. So we've created a display object, and it gets some weird number back, like 968,434. It's just an integer number that represents a location someplace that Corona is tracking or Lua is tracking. And we can simply use that as an index because tables in Lua can use integer indexes, they can use string indexes, they can use tables as indexes, functions, anything goes.
So this is almost like a row ID in the database, right? You're going directly to that row and saying,
exactly,
pull this thing out.
Referencing it by the thing that I know I'm going to be using as a reference later, I short circuit the whole thing, and I'll show that to you. So